This is part 2, getting and using referrals in the job hunt process. And in the first part, we covered some basics. What are referrals? Why are they very valuable in your job search? And how do you get them? And the takeaway really there was you simply have to ask. You have to request early and often, who do you know that I should be talking to over at ABC Company, what have you. In this part, we're going to talk about a couple of things, really the mechanics of using referrals. Once you've gotten that commitment to provide a referral, how do you really work that through to the end? And when you've gotten somebody to commit to giving you a referral, really there are 3 scenarios by which that referral will take place. The first is the best scenario, and that is the person you know is actually willing to give you the direct name and contact information for the person you're trying to get a hold of. And you're simply going to use that information to call them or contact them directly and reference the referrer's name and how you know them, etc. The second scenario, which is good, not as ideal as the first, but is pretty good, is where you get your referrer to agree to send a mutual email introduction. Townsend, please meet Bob. Bob, meet Townsend. Townsend is ... Bob is somebody I've known for many years. I hope the 2 of you will use the occasion of this email to get connected. Townsend's number is, Bob's number is, etc. And you can pretty much follow up from there. In the third scenario, and you'll run into this a lot if you don't preempt the referrer, somebody will say, well, I'll give them a call or I'll send them an email, and you're kind of left out of the loop. And that really is the worst of the 3 scenarios, but sometimes not a lot you can do about that. For the second and third scenarios where the referrer is going to take ownership of executing the referral, it's up to you, in my view, to actually write the email for them. So when somebody starts leading you down the, well, maybe I'll send an email, I'm going to preempt them with, well, one of the things that I really appreciate is if you could send a joint email to both of us making the introduction, and I'll take it from there. And by the way, I'd be happy to draft that email for you, and you can send it out under your cover with any edits you feel are appropriate. Right? Think about it. You need to be telling your story. You need to be selling yourself. You really don't want that referral to be held up, certainly, or diluted in any way simply because the referrer didn't have the time, or simply keeps putting it off because they don't know the right words to say. In the last scenario where the referrer is simply going to take it from there, a lot of times what I'll do is at least make sure that I have the name or the relevant contact information and start my own information search. Try to find them on LinkedIn, try to find their contact information where they work, in the hopes that if I don't hear from them in a week or so, I can send an email to my referrer saying simply, hey, I haven't heard from Bob lately. I'm assuming it's okay if I reach out to him directly, found him on LinkedIn. Please let me know if you have a problem with this. So those are kind of the basic 3 scenarios. Again, the theme here is taking control and really trying to take ownership of the process and making it easy for your referrer to help you out, right? The person that is going to make an introduction to somebody in their network, ideally, you don't want them having to think about it very long, having to put it in a task list. You want simply a nice closed loop process where you walk out of the meeting or the conversation, boom, in their inbox pops your email saying, by the way, here's my suggested text for your introduction, and that's their reminder to do something. So once we've gotten the referral going, so to speak, the names have been exchanged, or at least the other party knows who you are, I find a lot of job seekers really drop the ball here, and what they do is they sort of expect the referral to carry momentum on its own, to somehow do the work for them, and they're kind of sitting by the phone waiting for the phone to ring or the email to pop through, and they're surprised when somebody doesn't get back to you. Well, A, it could have gotten caught in their spam filter. B, they may have 100 other things on their plate, which is probably the case. And C, ultimately, you're trying to meet with them. It's not their job to track you down. You've been given a great gift in that you've got a much faster path or a much more accessible way to get in front of them, and they're more likely to take your call, but the onus is still on you. So the first thing I'll do, particularly if there's a mutual email sent, is I'll be the one to respond first. Hey Bob, so glad that Jim was able to get us connected. Really looking forward to meeting with you. Here are a couple of times next week when I think it'd be great for us to get together for a brief telephone conversation. Don't put in your email, hey, we should talk, and then you get a response from them, yeah, we should talk, and 6 emails go back and forth before you get anywhere. Be presumptive, right? The person should want to speak to you at least on a brief phone conversation. Send them a couple slots, put a little byline under there saying, hey, if these don't work, please feel free to suggest alternates, and you can get in that way. You're also going to have to pick up the phone, right? You may need to actually pick up the phone and try to hunt them down. Don't wait 3, 4, 5 days for somebody to get back to you. A lot of people, when they're sending email communication or referral, they kind of sit back and say, well, I'll give them 3 or 4 days and maybe they'll get back to me. Why, right? If that person is actually interested in talking to you, if they've seen your email, they're only going to react positively when the phone rings and it's you right there saying, listen, I sent you an email. I thought I'd take a quick minute to give you a call. Might catch you live, probably figured I'd get voicemail, but hey, here we are, let's get something on the calendar. That's really important. The next area that job seekers really drop the ball on referrals is they somehow think that a referral, one quick phone call, one quick email gets the job done. I've had to call people 10, 12, 15 times based on a referral, right? My assumption is somebody I know and trust referred me into somebody they know and trust. I have a right to be calling. I'm not going to be rude or obnoxious. I'm not going to fill up their inbox with messages and their voicemail box with voicemails, but I am going to be persistent. I'll put a call in there every single day, different times of the day, trying to catch them live, right? I'm doing them a favor. They're busy. They're managing 100 tasks, and now this is number 101. If I inject myself in that process and I'm patient and professional and polite, they're going to receive my call very, very well, and they're going to agree to meet with me, which is ultimately what I want. Hope this has been helpful. Please do post your comments below and certainly submit any topics for future video blogs like this one.